Dear students, in this chapter called tissue, we have completed our discussion up to the plant tissues. Each and every kind of plant tissues we have discussed in details. We have explained their functions, their structure, and whatever was possible, we have done so. Now today we will start discussion about animal tissue. As we said earlier also, animal tissue differs a lot from that of plant tissues. Animal tissues, when we classify, we generally divide them into four categories. The first one is epithelial tissue, the second is connective tissue, third is muscular tissue, and fourth, nervous tissue. So these are the four types of animal tissues. Now, then let us first start explaining about epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is a thin, protective, continuous sheet of cells. It generally covers the surface of the body and lines the various body cavities and internal organs, including the blood vessels. Example, we can say the outermost layer of skin and the lining surface of the mouth, nose, lungs, stomach, etc. So far as shape is concerned, epithelial cells may be flat, cuboidal, or columnar in shape. In all these cases, the cells of the epithelial tissues fit tightly together, leaving no space between them. There will be no space between these cells for any kind of microparticles to go inside. Now, function. The epithelial tissues functions for protection like that of skin, absorption and secretion as in intestine, sensory perception is also there, etc., etc. Now, its four structurally distinct categories according to the structure, we again redivide these epithelial tissues into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated columnar epithelium comes under this columnar epithelium, and glandular epithelium also, and finally stratified epithelium. So let us begin from squamous epithelium. Squamous epithelium is composed of cells which are thin, flat, with prominent nuclei closely packed. Examples, they are found, the squamous epithelium is found lining the mouth and nasal cavities, then blood vessels and lymph vessels. The squamous epithelium protects the underlying parts from mechanical injury, from germs from harmful chemicals and from drying up. These are the functions of squamous epithelium. Next epithelium which we are supposed to discuss is cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium is found in some parts of kidney tubules and in some glandular ducts such as those of salivary glands and pancreatic duct. So this is the location about cuboidal epithelium. Next is columnar epithelium. If we say the function of cuboidal epithelium, which I missed out, cuboidal epithelium have the secretion, the function of secretions, absorption, and in addition to provide support. So then next we can talk about columnar epithelium. At some places in the body, columnar epithelium contains vertically arranged cylindrical or brick-like cells. These cells are usually tall in size. Columnar epithelium is generally found in the inner lining of the stomach and intestine also. A conspicuous striated border of microvilli at the free surface end of each cell increases the surface area of the cell for absorption and secretion. So rightly we can say that they are found in the inner layer, inner lining of the alimentary canal. The function of these tissues then, as I said already, include secretion and absorption. It also sometimes, in some cases, provides mechanical support. Next, the next epithelium that we are supposed to discuss is ciliated columnar epithelium. See, at some places in the body, such as in the lining of the trachea, that is windpipe, the columnar epithelium is ciliated, and so this ciliated epithelium, this columnar epithelium is ciliated. The cells of the ciliated epithelium have thread-like protoplasmic projections called cilia at their free ends. The cilia constantly keep lashing and move the materials which enter these regions. Now, after that, this ciliated epithelium, we can discuss about glandular epithelium. Glandular epithelium is also a kind of columnar epithelium, and this glandular epithelium contains some large cells which secrete certain chemical substances. Such cells are common in the lining of the stomach and the intestine. At certain places in the body, the glandular epithelium is folded inward to form compact, hollow or tubular glands. They can be having shape compact or hollow or tubular. Example is your sweat gland, tear gland or the liver. Okay. Next epithelium which we are having in our discussion is stratified epithelium. Stratified epithelium is found in the skin and the cornea. It is composed of several layers, that is strata, of the same or different kinds of epithelial cells. So this is the end of all the kinds of epithelial tissues, where we have discussed about squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium. Under columnar epithelium we have said two types. One is ciliated columnar epithelium and second one is glandular epithelium, and the fourth kind of epithelial tissue is your stratified epithelium, which we generally find in our skin. Now then we can start now the next type of connective tissue, which is termed as connective tissue. We have said about animal tissue first, epithelial tissue, and the second now connective tissue. Connective tissue binds one tissue with another, just as the name suggests, same is its function. It binds one tissues with another and also connect various organs, keeping them in their proper place, so that the organs will not move from one place to another within our body. Now these connective tissues have some characteristics, just like epithelial tissue was also having. What are those characteristics of connective tissues? First point, connective tissues are having abundance of intercellular substances, that is the matrix. They have, second point, they have fewer cellular elements, and thirdly, they are fiber in nature. So this is about the connective tissue. Next is how we classify connective tissue. Connective tissue is divided into connective tissue proper, which plays the role of packing and binding the organs. Second is the supportive connective tissue, which gives support, that is like cartilage, like bones, which we'll discuss in details. And thirdly, the fluid connective tissue, under which we'll discuss about blood and lymph. Now let us enter into the discussion of connective tissue proper. Connective tissue proper again is having three type of categories, under three names. The first one is areolar connective tissue, second one is adipose tissue, and the third is the fibrous connective tissue. Then let us start discussing about areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue is most widely spread, occurring beneath the epidermis of the skin. It makes the skin elastic and helps it to withstand pulling strain. This is about areolar tissue. Adipose tissue, which we also say as the fat, this adipose tissue has specialized cells which stores fat. Now this tissue forms a padding under the skin and around the kidneys, eyeball, etc. And in this way they are protecting our inner part from sudden shock, sudden jerk, sudden collision. They are protecting us against these kind of mishappening. Padding under the skin also act as an insulation for retaining the body heat. It is acting as a insulator for retaining the heat energy of our body. Next is fibrous connective tissue. Fibrous connective tissue, if we say, it is made up of elongated cells, as referred as fiber. You can understand the meaning of fiber. Various fibers you have seen in the form of the cotton threads we are made of from cotton fibers, or the wool made from the fibers of the hairs of the sheep or the lambs, or the jute, the flax. In this way, these are also fibers. The fibers are strong and bundled together by areolar tissue. They form the tendons which connect muscle to bone and ligaments which connect bone to bone and hold them in position. We divide this tissue into two parts: white fibrous tissues and the yellow elastic tissue. The white fibrous tissue, it contains compactly arranged white fibers which lie almost in parallel bundles. There is very little matrix and the few cells lie between the fibers. These tissues forms cord called tendons. As I said, tendons connect muscles with bones. It has great strength but limited flexibility. Okay. Next is yellow elastic fiber or yellow elastic tissue. The yellow elastic fiber are thicker than those found in areolar tissue. This tissue containing very little matrix and few cells has considerable strength and remarkable elasticity. Like white fibers, it forms cord, and these cords are called ligaments, which joins bone together. Now, this is about the two kind of fibrous tissues. Under this category, the last tissue is reticular tissue. This reticular tissue are starch-shaped cells, made up of starch-shaped cells with protoplasmic processes. The network occurring in the matrix is formed by very thin fibers. The matrix also contains other types of cells. This tissues is present in the spleen, liver, bone marrow, etc., etc. Dear students, we have completed up to reticular tissue. We'll continue our discussion regarding the skeletal tissues, the cartilage, the bones in the next part. Till then, goodbye.